Hello and welcome back to another episode of Skids and Donuts. Today, we're taking the Volvo 240 for its first MOT in 13 years. So I have given it a nice clean. I've done a lot of the undersealing as well. I've currently got it up on ramps to try and bleed the cooling system even more again, because it still runs hot. So I've got it up in the air just in case I can get any more out, which some did come out as soon as I went up the ramps. It went. So the next step really is try and bleed this out a little bit more and then head over to this MOT appointment, because that is in half an hour's time. I still need to drive it there and hopefully it makes it. The gearbox or the diff is whining. I don't know why. I do have a spare gearbox anyway, which is a lower mileage one, significantly lower mileage one than the one I've got. So that might be a job in the future. I'll replace the clutch and recondition that gearbox, slap it all in, see what happens. Right then, we're about to drive it. And scared isn't the word. Starts right up, choke works. The blower motor, I forgot to say, the blower motor is dead. So I've got to do that. And the reason I might seem stressed is because if it fails, I can't drive this back home. It has to stay there to either get repaired there, or I need to rent a tow truck to bring it back, or pay somebody to bring it back for me, which is expensive in the UK for some reason. So I'm going to drive over there. I can't record my drive because it's illegal to hold your phone whilst driving, but you'll see if I make it there or not. So surprisingly to me, I made it to the MOT centre. I did panic it was going to overheat. It didn't. It was still warm, but it wasn't in the red. So fingers crossed it passes now. You know, MOTs are very strict in the UK, so we'll see what happens. There she goes. It is such a cool car. It looks amazing. I'm stressed now. I don't want it towed home. I want it to pass and I can drive it home and deal with all the advisories. I'm expecting it to fail. I don't know what on. It could be suspension, it could be the handbrake's not adjusted properly, it could be anything. They test everything. The brakes are all brand new as well, so if they've not been bedded in enough, that could fail. So we'll see what happens and I'll let you know. I got the Volvo back to have its MOT. It passed flying colours. It's got one advisory for underseal. I think they have to put that on there. It passed. I can't believe it's bloody passed. So I don't know if you've been able to hear that throughout this little drive. The gearbox is whining like mad. It's probably something like the input shaft bearing, but it's quite loud, and it's either going to be gearbox oil or the bearings or something like that. It sounds like the gearbox. It doesn't sound like the center shaft. But what I'm going to do anyway later, I'm just going to put brand new ATF type F in and we'll go from there. But for now, I think we should get some drive-by shots of the car, see how that goes. Done.
God.
Right, I've got my daughter filming whilst we go for a quick spin. And see what it actually looks like when it moves around. So it did donuts perfectly fine. and it drives wonderfully. So my thinking is, with the transmission, you need ATF Type F, which is what I've got. I think it says ATF 231100 Liquimali. I think this is Type F. I did do the research and apparently this is the one. So we're going to drop the fluid out the box, put that in, and if the noise is exactly the same, it's going to be something like the carrier bearing or maybe even the diff, something like that. Could even be a wheel bearing. But this needs doing anyway, so we're going to crack on with it. So I don't know how well you can see, but first things first is going to undo the fill bolt to make sure it actually comes off. There we go. So that comes undone. I've got no gloves today, which is a bit annoying, especially with gearbox oil. So it does drip out the top a bit. I did top it up, but we'll see how it goes. Okay, so the gearbox oil is drained, or draining, still dripping a little bit. And this is the drain bolt. It's got a little magnet on there. It's got a few flakes on it. It's not awful at all. If it was really bad, you'd have things like shards on there, but that's just a few little flakes. I can clean that off and we'll top it up with the ATF. Well, as always on this channel, I spoke too soon, and that's what it should look like. I think it was like a bit of mix-up of old oil plus a bunch of ferrous material, aka iron or steel. I do still have this gearbox. That's a very low mileage box. However, I don't have the sealing kit for it, and it did leak oil everywhere. I mean, I think I mentioned that in like a really old video now where I swapped the engine. I do still have that box, but we'll go ahead, replace the oil anyway, and we'll see what happens. The M47 isn't the strongest gearbox in the world, apparently. I'm on with 250,000 miles. Probably not as strong as factory. But we have the power of positivity. So we're going to fill it up anyway. We're going to do the engine oil whilst we're at it, and go from there. So a good reason to verify everything before you put it in. I didn't do any research, and I just searched ATF Type F, which is very important for this gearbox. And this one popped up more than once. But if you look, nowhere does it say Type F. So I just verified it all, and it's not Type F at all. So we're going to go to Halfords. We're going to get some 75W80, I think. GL4 specifically. And we're going to slap that in, see what happens. Oil-wise, it's a bit dirty and a bit glittery. But you can still see a red tint on it. But there's no chunks. There is glitter, and you expect that for a 250,000 mile gearbox. But overall, it's not too bad. It probably is bad, but I know I've got a backup gearbox, which is why I'm not panicking. I've done a lot of research on this other oil. It's a very similar consistency to the ATF Type F, but the GL4 specifically is safe for yellow metals like brass. And now I've seen quite a few people actually put that in, and they say it's better than the ATF. Great. Great. Right, so I've been to Halfords and I've got the 75W80. This is apparently one of the best ones to use if you can't get ATF Type F. Volvo released a bulletin a long time ago to say use 10W30, but that was before the introduction of ATF Type F, I believe. Something like that. It's really hard to find answers. People run a lot of different things in the M47. I've scoured the forums, and this is apparently one of the best ones. It's second to best from Type F. I will buy Type F, but I thought I had that and I've already drained all of the oil. So we're going to put 1.8 to 2 litres in this. If I can get that thing in and get my arm under. Oh dear. There we go. Well, I managed to get the full 2 litres in. You have to, you know, jack the car up to one side. This is the old oil. It's not really looking too fantastic. I mean, it's worn out for sure. But we've got this new stuff in now. Even if this is only temporary, if I get a bunch of comments saying don't use this whatsoever, you know, the that one, then yeah, I'll change it to Type F. When I go ahead and put this box in, I'll fill that with Type F anyway. But at the minute, there's like 2-week order times for everything. And obviously, I already made the mistake with that. But if anybody knows if I can use this for anything else, I think it might be good for the power steering pump. If not, let me know, because I don't know anyway. Right, so car's on the floor. We're going to cycle through the gears, which actually feel really smooth. And I suppose now we actually test it and see if we've broken it or not. So I may have to assume that's the carrier bearing causing these issues. So, as you probably just heard, the noise is exactly the same. So I've got to presume it's the carrier bearing or a wheel bearing. I suppose the only way to identify that would be to jack up the rear end and get somebody else to sit here and actually move the wheels whilst it's in the air. And then I should be able to pinpoint where it's coming from. It's definitely from the front end, from like the gearbox forward. But it could be like the carrier bearing like amplifying the sound through. But I think we'll leave that video there for now. I'm still way over the moon at the fact that this car runs. Don't unsubscribe, because there's still going to be plenty of videos coming for this 240. I've still got the Civic, and we've also got any potential future projects that are coming along. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll catch you again in the next video.